Good morning, Good morning, YouTube. Please like, please subscribe, and leave any comments if you see us doing anything wrong or right that you like here. We are doing a farm sink fit up for the pre-countertop final measurements and install of this farm sink. Over here we've got our sink cabinet. We've got some blue tape on it to protect where we're doing our measurements and our cutting. And here we have a 33-inch farm sink upside down. We're going to lay this cabinet down and line it up perfectly symmetrical with the sink and then do some measurements. So I've got my cabinet sitting down. We got 33.5 inches, or an inch and a half on each side of this 33-inch sink. So we're all set up to do our scribes here. We'll be using a regular square, and then we'll draw our lines on the outside of the regular square, and we'll line that square back up to it and draw the line on the inside so we have a nice perfect straight line off the sink. Here we're using our square as a guide to make our scribe. Then we'll flip the cabinet back and use the width of the square to get the line where it needs to be. Using the width of this, which threw our line off just a little bit when we lined up to the edge of the sink. So we're using this as our shim to stick our line back where it needs to be for the cut.
On?
Mm-hmm. Here you can see the effect of using that square to put our line back where it needs to be. That should work out pretty good if we can remember to cut the correct line. So there's brace hardware underneath here where we're going to be making this this cut. So we're going to pull this brace hardware off while we make the cut. So we got the braces off, didn't lose anything, got everything set aside here so we can reinstall after we make this cut. Here we are making our cuts. Maybe, go ahead, I'm just talking. Here's our work area for our cabinetry work. Got a table saw, a chop saw, some DeWalt tools, nice little sunshade. We put this cabinet for the farm sink fit up on a piece of 1/2-inch drywall, so we'd have a really nice flat precision place to line everything up. So far it's worked out real good. Got a pretty cool Ryobi swamp cooler slash fan, runs on a regular Ryobi battery. My buddy said these things cost about 75 bucks. Pretty sweet, does work good. Sits on a 5-gallon bucket full of water, sprays out a nice little mist on you. Pretty nice. We're using a jigsaw to finish these cuts out. And out the piece comes. Got fairly nice clean cuts, so we'll stand this thing up and see if it fits around the sink yet. So we got the height perfect, that's the more critical, and these sides we're going to sand back a little bit so we get a nice perfect tight fit. There we go. So far so good. After several fine sanding episodes, we got everything to fit really good. So we've got no daylight here on the drywall. Everything's nice and flush and flat all the way across. We came inside with some 1x3s, cut them the length of the cabinet on the inside and screwed those on. Length of the cabinet on the inside, screwed those on. And we cut some pieces that we teed off on each side so the sink slides in perfectly. We had to get a file and file those down so we're nice and square and everything's perfect here. So we should be able to go set this thing in and just drop the sink. So here's the farm sink in the house, sitting nicely flush with the cabinet bottoms. So we're ready for the countertop people to come. We put little stops so the sink slides back, hits the stops. We're sitting on the rails that you saw earlier. This looks pretty nice. And from underneath, we're nice and clean and clear. We got all our service leads for the drains and the power for the dishwasher and the sink and the hot and cold water ready to go. And that is the end of the farm sink fit up and installation.